Yo, this is TYRON HAPI, and you're watching AU Dollars.
I know some people that love me, some people that hate me. I'm living like fuck it, oh well. This nigga that go against, they won't know where he win. Only thing they can say is he failed. I like my bitch on my dick if she's still on the fence.
Yo, what up, Cash fam? My name is Matthew Craig, and you are tuned in to AU Dollars, Australia's Hip Hop Connect. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, share it around, and jump into the comments with your thoughts on today's chat, especially if you're a producer, because we got another producer in the house today, but not just any old producer. My guest is one of the biggest beat makers this country has ever seen. I'm talking billions of streams, top the Billboard songwriter and producer charts, multi-platinum selling artist and producer across several records, to the point where he conquered the world at EDM and more recently just went, you know what, I'm going to do the same in hip hop, and he just transitioned over. He's worked with everyone from the likes Amber Shepherd, Will Sparks, Young Guap. Melbourne, stand up, somehow just 23 years of age, only just hitting his stride right now. It's scary to think what the future holds for this guy. My homie, TYRON HAPI, the one and only. Welcome to AU Dollars, Australia's Hip Hop Connect, bro. How you doing today?
Yo, what's good? Damn, you're hyping me up, bro.
Those facts, though, those facts.
I'm getting mad gas just off your intro, bro.
That's what it's about, bro.
Hard, bro. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, G. On that note, bro, sometimes you got to pinch yourself. You got to be like, fuck, what's going on in the world right now? Like, how am I here? I'm 23. Like, you've been doing it for a minute, but is there moments you got to catch yourself and just surround yourself and understand?
Man, not really. Hey, I just kind of like, I feel like I've been doing it for a while, bro. Like, I've been producing since I was like 14, like 13, 14. And I had some good shit happen when I was younger, when I was like 16, 17. And that's when I was kind of pinching myself.
Yeah.
But you can only really, I mean, it's kind of, I got kind of used to the feeling of, you know, stuff happening with music and whatnot. And over time it was like, I don't know, I kind of just grew into it. But I mean, I definitely still wake up and I'm blessed and I'm so grateful for, you know, what's going on in my life and, you know, but I kind of just see success and good things that happen as a sign to just work harder and keep working harder. I don't really sit back and go, oh, this is awesome, or how is this actually happening? Even when I work with people, man, I'm not like, I don't really freak out about it. I kind of just, you know, get on with it and make music and, you know, but that's kind of my mindset.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And you're right there, because you have been, like, it seems like your name been around for nearly a decade, bro, and you're still only 23. Let us a bit into that journey when you're a teenager coming up, bro. Obviously, you studied at VCA. You've been making music since a young age. Let us in a bit on that journey and upcoming for those who might not be familiar with the story.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was really bad at school. Hey, like, I was horrible. The only thing I was kind of good at is English, and I wasn't even that good at music, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up leaving school at like year 10 just because I figured it was a waste of time. And just started making beats, but not like hip hop beats. Like dance music. Like there's a guy named Skrillex.
Yep.
And back in the day, he was making dubstep. So I was making dubstep back in the day. And over time, I was just making, you know, dance music, and that's where I worked with Will Sparks and, you know, Timmy Trumpet and all those guys. And I stopped doing that probably a couple of years back. And now I'm just writing, you know, hip hop. But I also write all sorts of genres like pop music all the way to country. So it's like, I kind of can't stick to one thing, man. I'm jumping around all over the place, but I'm loving hip hop, loving R&B at the moment. And that's kind of what I'm sinking my teeth into.
Yeah. Have you noticed, as you've sort of made the transition, is there different ways you have to move in terms of, is there different approaches to the songwriting that you did compared to when you were?
Oh, yeah. 100%, man. It's really weird. Like, I find it really hard. I find it harder to make hip hop than dance music.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is weird, because what people don't realize about making hip hop, and hip hop is like a wide umbrella of genres. You know, you've got trap, boom bap, garage, drill. You got all these genres, right? But they're all so different from one another. It's all so, you know, sound palette wise, timing wise. Where do you put your kick? Where do you put your snare? And it is really tough, and it's tough to adapt to. And people don't realize that. Some people listen to hip hop and they're like, oh, you've just got a 16th note hat with a kick and a snare and an 808, and it's so easy. It's like, bro, it is sometimes so like you got to pick the right sounds, put them in the right timing, because it's all got to really glue together. And the thing about hip hop is sometimes it's not meant to be perfect. Sometimes it's not meant to sound perfect, right? So like hip hop is mainly rhythm, right? Everyone kind of like dances to it. Everyone's like grinding to it in the club. It's a rhythm thing. And sometimes it's meant to sound more organic and stuff. So that was a big thing that I had to adapt to coming from dance music, because dance music is real perfect. Everything's like on the grid. Yeah, everything's like you would never really quantize a kick drum in dance music because it's always hitting on the floor. You know what I mean? But in hip hop, man, you can make that shit as sloppy as possible and just put everything everywhere, and it sounds real like, you know what I mean? Like it's meant to be all over the shop sometimes. But yeah, like even something as little as lining up your snare drum a little bit before it's meant to hit, stuff like that. I had to learn, and I was like, I wasn't used to it. It was weird. So it was definitely a big thing to adapt coming from an EDM world to a hip hop world. And also just the drums and stuff. Like I noticed a lot of EDM producers trying to make hip hop, they still use dance drums. Like they still use their like the WA production kick drums and stuff. And it's like, no, you gotta completely switch your drum kits and your palettes and stuff. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, bro. Big thing to adapt to.
So how about even just the atmosphere and the environment, bro, of walking into a hip hop session versus walking in the EDM? Is there a different sort of atmosphere in the room? Do you have to approach things differently?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I find that when I'm riding with hip hop people or a hip hop crew or an R&B crew, it's different to riding with people who write, you know, pop music and stuff. I think it's just mainly just a culture thing. You know, I think it's definitely a very different vibe. And I've got to go in with a different mindset. So like if I'm going into a hip hop session, I'm like, okay, this is where it kind of comes down to organization as a producer. It's like, okay, I know where all of my hip hop drum sounds are. So if I'm in a hip hop session, I'm not going to go through any pop drums. You know, I'm not going to be cycling through any, you know, and vice versa. When you're in a pop writing session, or when I'm not going to really go through 808s and all these crazy heavy drums that just won't really inspire the environment. So yeah, you definitely have to be wary of like, you know, where you are and who you're riding with and what you're riding for. But yeah, man.
That's dope. What have you learned about yourself along the journey, man?
Damn, that's a big question. Far out. I haven't really thought about that, bro. I kind of just what have I learned about myself? I've learned that like no matter what, you can adapt to any genre of music you want to make. Like it's not out of reach. Like I meet a lot of people and they're like, oh, dude, currently I'm making techno or house music, and they're like, but I'd just love to be making hip hop beats on the side, but I can't do it. And I'm like, nah, you can 100% do that. There are so many producers in Australia who do that, man.
Yeah.
And it's really not hard if you put your mind to it. If you just spend time putting effort into it. At the end of the day, if it's something you really want to do, eventually you'll get there. And for me, at least, I've just kind of, you know, put time into it, and I make sure that I constantly make all kinds of music, you know. You know, I won't spend too much time making hip hop because I want to just make sure that, you know, if there's a time that comes up where a big pop artist asks for some loops, I'm not stuck and I'm not like, oh shit, sorry man, I only make hip hop. Yeah. Because that would kill me if, you know, I got hit up by an A-list pop artist and I don't have any, you know what I mean? So I think for me, it's just about staying as versatile as possible.
Yeah, that's cool. And how do you feel the reception has been? Obviously, you know, Australian dance music has dominated for the last decade. You know, guys like Will and Joel have done crazy things, and now we're starting to see the hip hop or the R&B wave from Australia really make roads. You know, we're topping charts in the States and stuff like that. How's the reception been, and what do you feel the approach is towards Australian acts at the moment?
I feel like it's about time that we're kind of being put on the map.
Yeah.
I feel like Australian artists are always kind of, not even artists, Australian writers as well and producers are really overlooked in a sense. No one really considers Australia, which is fair enough. We're so far away from everyone. LA is kind of the hub of writing music and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, over the past few years, I mean, it's weird. I've only been in the hip hop scene for like, dude, I'm fresh in it. I mean, I've only been doing it I started writing with, Mars Wolf when we made Astro, and that was, 2.5 years ago, whatever. That was like my first hip hop beat. It was like my first it was amongst the first pack of hip hop beats that I made. And you can kind of tell when you listen to it that I've kind of come from an EDM background, because it's not like your typical kind of trap beat. It's a bit different. Yeah. So I was super new. So I've only been in the actual, hip hop Oz kind of scene for like not that much time. Yeah. But yeah, back to your question, man. I think it's great that people are starting to finally get, noticed and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we have some crazy talent over here, man. I think over the next few years, we're really going to see that. And a lot of people are going to come out and start releasing their music more. And I think TikTok's been really good as well. I think we're starting to see a lot of new Australian artists come through on TikTok, just doing, even like covers and stuff. But it makes you think like, man, there are just so many crazy talented people here in Oz that probably have been told they either can't do it or, they're too nervous to put their stuff out there and stuff. But yeah, man, it's finally happening and people are doing their thing. So it's good.
Hella exciting. Let's you mentioned Astronaut there. Let's touch on that record for a second, because obviously it's done incredible things and it's something we want to talk about. Let us into producing that. That's one of the very first hip hop beats you made. That guitar line is iconic, and that's what's obviously taken that song around the world. Let us into the process of cooking that beat, bro. Where was your head at with it? And then did you anticipate the response it got?
Yeah, man. Oh, what's crazy? I don't even remember making that beat. Hey, I think that was just like an hour beat kind of thing. I didn't really think too much about it. But it was really, the producers will appreciate this one. So how it was made was I made the guitar line. I always knew the bass line was going to go boom, boom, boom. I was always going to do that. And I was like, I just need an instrument at the start doing that, kind of teasing the bass line. So I whipped out my guitar, but it was real out of tune and stuff. And I played it. And I was like, all right, all good. I'll come back to it later and fix it up and tune it and whatnot. But for now, the idea can just sit there in the song. And I made the rest of the song, and then I came back to the out of tune guitar, and I was like, oh, good, I'll re-record it. And I re-recorded it in tune, and it just didn't sound as good. Like it didn't sound as grungy. So I ended up just leaving in the out of tune guitar there. And it was literally the first thing I played as well. So yeah, man, it's a weird thing. Like you'd never really go into a session and tell everyone not to tune your instruments before playing. It's not a thing. So it's weird how I got that. And it's so funny because when I was over in the States working with like A-list guitar people, they're like, bro, like, how did you get that tone out of your guitar? And I'm like, bro, I just didn't tune it, eh? Like, and then I was just like, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of funny. But the response from it was, it was weird, bro. Like we put out the song and it didn't really do anything. It got a few 100,000 streams, which at the time was really good for Wolf. You know what I mean? He was a new artist. No one had really heard of him. So we were like, okay, that's probably your best song so far. And at the time I was doing my own thing as well. I was touring and DJing and whatnot. And then a year later, it hit like a couple million streams and we're like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that's really good for an Australian hip hop song to get, a couple million streams. That's massive. And then it just kept going and going, and it got like 50K streams a day, and then 100K streams a day, and then 250, and then 500, and a million. And at this point, it was up to like 100 million streams, and we were just like, oh, we'll just call it a day. That's insane, 100 million streams. And it's even crazier because we had no support on this song. We had no Spotify editorial playlist. We had no label rollout plan. It was just complete organic. Like, it was insane. Like a one in a lifetime type thing.
Mhm.
And yeah, man, it's still climbing to this day. It's just it's over 1 billion streams right now. It's weird saying that, but it is. And I'm just so grateful for that, because it's just set me up and allowed me to work with some super incredible people, and will continue to do that probably. So wild.
Yeah, and you've never tuned a guitar since. So.
Yeah, fuck no, bro. My guitar is so out of tune, eh? Nah, it's all good.
Where do you get your inspiration from, bro? Are you someone that, like, you go into the booth and it's like, all right, I'm writing for this period of time, or is it you get ideas when you're walking in the street or driving your car or whatever? What's your sort of creative process like?
It used to be like, oh, I'm just gonna wait for the idea to hit me.
Yeah,
but I feel like you, at some point, you're not always going to be motivated to do stuff. You know what I mean? You're not always going to be motivated to go to the gym or whatever, or do whatever your daily kind of routine is. Even getting out of bed, bro. Like, I'm still waking up, man. I'm so tired. But when this Zoom is done, I really don't feel like making music right now. I really don't. I'd love to just, go back to bed. But I know that this is my job, and I want to make the most of this while I'm, 23. I don't want to get to 50 years old and be like, shit, I could have just worked harder. You know what I mean? And I feel like forcing yourself is really good. Even if you're not making music, even if you're just organizing a library or downloading new drum packs or learning how to play the guitar, even if it's not producing it, but it's still contributing to your craft and your art. So yeah, man, at this point, I just kind of force myself every day. And at some point I make something I like, and that's where the inspiration kind of just flows. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a cross between just finding that motivation and inspiration, and just forcing yourself to actually do it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good advice for any upcoming producers watching now. Just get out of bed, get the work in, put some work in, whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
Important.
Yeah.
Are you someone that sort of like manifests and plans out what your future's looking like? Or are you someone that just makes beats and then writes songs and takes as it comes? What's your sort of approach to your sort of forward and career planning? And what would you like to do into the future?
Man, I used to really be like, I used to write down like end of year goals and stuff, like, I want this many streams on this song by the end of this year, and I want to work with this guy by the end of that year. But I realized just doing music for a minute, it's like everything's so random. An Astronaut in the Ocean is so random, and it's just weird that happened. And it's like, you can't really predict stuff. I mean, it's a bit easier if you're an artist, right? Me as a producer, I bounce around so many different genres, so it's kind of hard to dictate what is actually going to happen. But if you're like a rapper or whatever, and you write drill, you can kind of make hard goals with drill music and stick to that and achieve that. Whereas with me as a producer, playing a completely different role, making completely different music all the time, it's really just hard. So for me, I just make everything I possibly can, and just connect with as many different people as possible. And if something happens, great, awesome. If something doesn't happen from it, awesome. I just learned how to make a different genre. You know what I mean? So yeah. But at the same time, I feel like as a producer, the more songs you make and the more songs you get placed and the more songs you write with artists, and the more songs that get put out, they're kind of like free lottery tickets. You know what I mean? It's like you're putting out your work and one day one of them might hit, kind of thing. And Astro was lucky enough to hit. And I had a couple tracks too well before Astro, and I got lucky that they also hit as well. But I think it's just about us making as much music as possible, even if it kind of sucks, because there'll always be someone out there who likes your stuff. Yeah.
I'll rock with that. And tell us about what you got upcoming. Like you said, you obviously off the back of Astro had a lot of people reach out to you, and you got a new session with people. You got some stuff coming with Cash. Tell us about that project or record coming up.
Yeah, I just dropped a record with a guy named Cash over in the States. He's a really dope rapper. I love his flow. He's wicked. But we wrote a track, finished it up a few months back. That actually came out, I think, last week. It's probably the hardest thing I've put out. But that's kind of the sound I want to go for this year. Is like that harder trap kind of stuff.
Yeah.
more American sounding. So
Yep.
yeah, that's the vibes, man. But that's not to say that I would also put out some R&B stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've been writing with some pretty incredible R&B people. There's a girl from Sydney named A Girl.
Yep.
And she's incredible.
She was in this studio a few weeks ago as well, man. She crazy.
Bro, I swear she is insane. Like she's so quick, man. Like whenever she comes over and we write a song, it's like she has the song done in like 5 minutes, and I'm just like, how? She's insane. She's gonna kill it. Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah.
Is there anyone else that on the horizon you're looking at? Like, man, I would love to work with that person one day.
Damn, good question. In like as in long term, or like as in Australia?
Long term. Is there anyone that you're just like, man, I got to cross that bridge?
Yeah, man. I mean, my dream collaboration is The Weeknd. Like, I want to produce for a track for The Weeknd.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the stuff I make when I'm on my own, if I'm just writing for myself or whatever, I write a lot of synthy inspired stuff, and I guess that comes from making dance music.
Yeah.
So The Weeknd has always kind of resonated with me, and I love his stuff. So I'd love to work with him one day. If not him, then Kanye.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, there's a lot of talent out there. I'm just kind of grateful to work with anyone and share knowledge and ideas with anybody. So
That's cool. That's cool. I see it happening one day. I see that Yeezy collab happening one day, bro. Don't even worry about that. I want to touch as well on my personal favorite record of yours, and a mutual friend of ours, JJ Demelo, bro. I want to touch and talk a bit about JJ, because one of my things, and I know everyone who ever knew JJ, we're all passionate about sharing his legacy and his story. For anyone watching today who might not be familiar with the King of the City, tell us a little bit about JJ Demelo and that record that came out shortly after his passing.
Man, we made that probably a year before his passing. I think at the time I'd only actually met him once or twice, man, but he's such a legend, bro. Like every time I met him, he was just like full of energy, always looking to work. Everyone just always loved him. Whenever he walked in the room, everyone was just all over him, and he had this charisma about him. But that was a while ago, man. We cooked that up. He sent me the acapella. And then that was the first hip hop beat I'd made. That one was the first hip hop beat I made.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was, I think it might have been back in 2018 or maybe even earlier.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, I made that beat. I can't remember the process of making the beat. It was that long ago. But yeah, it was a nice track, and I'm glad that it managed to find its way to come out. And yeah, he loved it. So he would have been so happy that came out and people could have heard that. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that anyone who knows JJ knows what a special energy you have, man. And for that to be the first hip hop beat that you produced and go on to rack up Billies and top Billboard, man, with his legacy still shining through you today, G. That's 100%.
Yeah, special. Hard, bro. Hard.
What would your if you had one key bit of advice for upcoming producers, what would it be?
Damn, I go over in my head every day, like, when I get asked this question, what should I say? But when I get put on the spot like that, I completely forget. But there's just so much. There is so much advice. Like, I mean, I could honestly chew your ear off for hours and other people's ears off for hours about music and writing. And there's honestly nothing more than I like to see my friends and people who deserve it succeeding. So, man, I guess the one thing would just be to stay as consistent as possible, but also make sure you're loving it. Because if you're not loving it at the end of the day, there's not really much point. And if you're just in it for money, it's like eventually it's going to drift off. And, so just make sure that, every day you wake up and you look forward to writing music. Well, not every day, but make sure you love it. Make sure you stay consistent. Just because you're not seeing, I mean, Masked Wolf, man, he was writing for like 10 years before Astro, you know what I mean? Like he's been doing it for ages. And he just never gave up. He never gave up. And next minute he's got one of the biggest songs in the world. So that kind of speaks for itself. So just stay consistent and keep practicing your craft and be open, learn new things, try new things, especially for like hip hop producers. Don't get caught up in, using beat templates all the time and using the same 808 pattern. Like switch it up. Eventually it's going to change one day. Be the first to do it. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Like it's fine to be safe and make, very similar beats to whoever's popping at the moment, but don't be afraid to try new things on the side and because eventually you're just going to kind of find your own sound and you know what I mean? So
that's real.
But yeah, man, that's kind of where I'm at.
Dope, bro. Dope. Well, let's slide in some rapid fire, bro. Let's have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna throw quick questions at you. Whatever the first.
Hopefully, my brain can work this fast in the morning, but go for it.
We'll get it. All right, rapid fire right now with TYRON HAPI. If the world's ending tomorrow, bro, what's the last meal you're having tonight for dinner?
A ribeye steak, medium rare.
Straight to it. He knows what he wants. What's your favorite record of your own?
None.
If you could go to any place in the world for a holiday, where are you going?
New Zealand.
Yep. Nice.
South Island, to be specific.
Beautiful. Beautiful. When TYRON HAPI gets a big bag, what's your favorite place to spend money?
Oh, man. Oh, God. Maybe a car.
Nice. Any particular car you got your eye on?
The one I got now is cool. I'm happy with it. But, I mean, one day down the track, I'd love a G-Wagon. So that's kind of the end goal.
That's gangster. If you could hang out with a cartoon character for a day, who would it be, bro?
Homer.
That's good. It's the first time I had that answer. I like that. That.
Yeah.
Who was your first ever celebrity crush?
I don't know if I've ever had a celebrity crush, man, to be honest.
That's a lie.
Celebrity crush, man. Dude, I honestly can't tell you. You tell me yours and I'll see if it jogs my memory. I'm switching it up. I'm the interviewee.
Angelina Jolie was probably my first one.
Yeah, real?
Tomb Raider, bro.
Come back to that one at the end. Hit me at the end, see if it rejogs.
Bet. What's a movie recommendation that everyone's going to check out?
Whiplash, 100%.
Bet. Have not
100%.
I'll be peeping that.
It's different, but it's good.
Nice. When you're traveling, when you're on the road, what's the one thing you got to be taking with you?
Oh, minus like the phone and the wallet, like the obvious.
Yeah, automatic.
Deodorant, 100%.
Yeah. Good. That's good. What record do you wish you produced?
Oh, every record ever. Damn, Blinding Lights, man. Blinding Lights. It's weird because at that time I was kind of doing similar stuff. Mm-hmm. And then he put out Blinding Lights. The Weeknd put out Blinding Lights, and I was like, ooh, damn, like I wish I did that, because I was kind of doing a little synth wave thing at the time. But yeah, that's a crazy record, that one.
What's your wallpaper? What's your background on your phone?
My girlfriend. There's a lot of notifications, but
that's good. This is the last question. Now we always get controversial on this one with AUD. There's a lot of contention around this question. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Hell no.
Nah, not rocking with it.
Nah, that's chat. It defeats the whole purpose of a pizza. Ooh, gives me shivers thinking about it, bro. No way.
And let's loop back on that celebrity crush. Can you remember one?
You know what? I'm actually struggling. Hey, my mind is racing through like who could it possibly be? Like who could it be, bro? But I don't know. Like when I was a kid and stuff, I've never watched that many movies.
Yeah.
Or TV shows. So I honestly couldn't tell you. You know what? As soon as this interview ends,
you'll have it.
I'll have it.
We'll do a part 2, bro. We'll link up. We'll do another chat at some stage, and then we'll talk about it then, hey?
Hard. All right, done. Sounds good, brother.
I'm happy, my bro. I appreciate your time today. Appreciate the game that you're dropping, and congratulations on everything you're achieving, not only for yourself, but just for inspiring upcoming producers in Australia that they can reach the top as well, my bro. So thanks for your time, and we wish you the best for what's upcoming, G.
Thank you so much for having me, bro. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Big love, bro. Big love.
Don't give a fuck if you love me or not. Never show love to a op or a thought. Jackals be watching, I'm peeping the plot. Reach for the chain, I'ma up with the Glock. Told the police when his homie got shot. Can't rock with buddy, he fuck with the cop. Hugging my knot cause I love it a lot. Thumbing through chicks, how I get off my